There is a $3 box sitting on the bottom shelf of your grocery store right now. Most people walk past it every single week without a second glance. It looks boring. It looks old. It looks like something your grandmother might have used. And that is exactly what the $4 billion plumbing and chemical drain industry is counting on. Because that forgotten box permanently dissolves the kind of drain clog that a plumber charges you $250 to fix. Not temporarily, not partially, permanently. And it does it in under 20 minutes without touching your pipes, without toxic fumes, and without a single service call. That box is pure washing soda, sodium carbonate, $3. And the industry has quietly, systematically made sure you never learned how it actually works. Welcome to the Buried Blueprint. I'm going to show you exactly what they buried, exactly why they buried it, and exactly how to use it today. If you believe that billion-dollar corporations have spent decades engineering your dependency on products that secretly make your problems worse over time, then hit subscribe and ring the bell right now. Because that is precisely what this channel exists to prove, one documented case at a time. Stay with me, because the application method I'm about to give you is the difference between this working perfectly and it not working at all. Now let's go back. Let's go back before the television commercials, before the brightly colored bottles under your sink, before the warning labels that told you to keep children and pets out of the room while you poured a chemical down your own drain. Before 1932, there were no mass-marketed liquid chemical drain cleaners. None. They hadn't been invented yet, or more accurately, they hadn't been patented yet. And the pipes in the most demanding buildings on Earth, the grand hotels of New York and Chicago, the military hospitals of the First World War, the municipal water systems running beneath entire cities, those pipes were maintained using bulk industrial sodium carbonate, washing soda, the exact same compound you can buy today for $3.29 at your local store. The facilities managers of those buildings were not naive. They were not working with primitive chemistry. They were working with a compound they trusted completely because it worked completely. Miles of industrial-grade iron and early copper piping, running beneath ballrooms and surgical wards and government buildings, kept clear year after year, decade after decade, by a simple alkaline compound that cost almost nothing. The maintenance logs from the Waldorf Astoria's original plumbing contracts in the 1920s referenced sodium carbonate as a standard quarterly maintenance flush. Standard, quarterly, maintenance. Not emergency, not reactive, preventive, because it worked that well. Then came 1932. Then came the patents. The first mass-produced chemical drain cleaners were built around sodium hydroxide, lye, a compound with a pH of 14, sitting at the absolute extreme end of the alkalinity scale. The chemists who developed these products knew exactly what they were creating. They knew sodium hydroxide worked. They also knew something else, something the commercials never mentioned. They knew it caused a violent, uncontrolled exothermic reaction inside your pipes. Violent, uncontrolled, inside your pipes. That reaction generates temperatures inside the pipe that can exceed 200 degrees Fahrenheit locally. For modern PVC plumbing, the kind installed in virtually every home built after 1970, the thermal deformation threshold sits right around that same temperature. What does that mean in plain language? It means every time you pour a bottle of commercial liquid drain cleaner into a PVC pipe, you are softening the interior wall of that pipe, warping it, microscopically at first, then not so microscopically. The pipe doesn't fail immediately. That would be too obvious. Instead, it weakens progressively. The joint seals begin to stress. The interior diameter narrows slightly where the walls have bowed inward. And clogs, paradoxically, begin to form more easily because the smooth pipe wall is no longer smooth. For older homes with metal plumbing, the chemistry is even more straightforward and more damaging. Sodium hydroxide actively accelerates the galvanic corrosion of iron and zinc galvanized pipes. It doesn't just clear the clog, it eats into the pipe wall itself at the contact points, slowly, consistently, over years. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented materials science. The manufacturers know it, the licensed plumbers know it. And the financial model of the $4 billion drain care industry is quietly built around it. Think about the architecture of that business for one moment. They sell you a $15 bottle of sodium hydroxide solution. You pour it down your drain, it clears the clog, because it does work, at least initially. But over the next 5 years, it is also silently degrading your pipe infrastructure. Then, one day, you have a leak, or a burst fitting, or a slow drain that no amount of chemical cleaner seems to fix anymore because the pipe wall itself has warped and narrowed, and you call a plumber, and the plumber gives you a quote. And the quote is not for clearing a clog. The quote is for a full pipe replacement. And that quote is not $250. That quote starts at $2,000 and climbs quickly depending on how much wall or floor needs to be opened up to reach the damage. The $15 bottle was not the product. You were the product. Your pipes were the subscription model. Before I give you the exact formula and the precise application method, I need to tell you something important. The washing soda solution is one entry in a much longer archive. The buried blueprint vault in the description below this video contains dozens of suppressed home survival guides, forgotten construction techniques, and off-grid solutions that predate the modern corporate service economy. Guides on eliminating structural mold without industrial remediation. Guides on weatherproofing that outperforms modern synthetic coatings. Guides that the relevant industries have spent significant marketing budgets ensuring you never search for. The link is in the description. Go there, download what you need, but stay right here. Because the way you apply this washing soda changes everything. The sequence matters, the timing matters. If you skip a step or change the order, you will get a fraction of the result. Stay with me. Here is the science. And this part is important because once you understand it, you will understand why this works, where commercial products eventually fail. Sodium carbonate washing soda has a pH of approximately 11. That is highly alkaline, aggressive enough to break down grease and organic material powerfully, but critically it is thermally stable. It does not trigger a violent exothermic reaction when it contacts organic material. Instead, it initiates a controlled electrochemical process that chemists call saponification. Saponification. Remember that word. Saponification is the same chemical process that turns animal fats and vegetable oils into soap. It is, in the most literal sense, how soap is made. When sodium carbonate contacts the fats, cooking grease, hair-bound lipids, and organic debris that form the overwhelming majority of residential drain clogs, it does not dissolve them violently. It converts them. It breaks the molecular bonds that make that grease solid and hydrophobic, meaning water-repelling, and it restructures those molecules into water-soluble compounds. Compounds that do not resist water. Compounds that flow with water. The result is not that the clog gets pushed further down the pipe. The result is that the clog ceases to exist as a solid structure and becomes part of the water flowing past it. That is the fundamental difference. Commercial drain cleaners use brute thermal and chemical force to punch a hole through a clog, a cleared path. The clog material remains coating the pipe walls. It will rebuild. And it does rebuild, typically faster the second time because the pipe wall has been roughened by the previous chemical reaction. Washing soda does not punch a hole. It converts the entire clog into something that cannot clog. The pipe wall is not attacked. The pH of 11 is aggressive toward organic material, but entirely safe for PVC, ABS plastic, copper, iron, and ceramic. This is not marketing language. This is the same chemistry that industrial maintenance crews have used for well over a century without a single documented case of pipe damage attributable to sodium carbonate. Now, the exact recipe. Follow this precisely. First, go to your grocery store or hardware store. Look for washing soda. The brand most commonly available in American stores is Arm & Hammer Super Washing Soda. It is in a yellow box. It will be in the laundry aisle, not the cleaning aisle. The price will be between $2 and $4 for a box that will give you multiple treatments. This is critical. Do not buy baking soda. Do not buy baking powder. Do not buy anything marketed as a drain cleaner, even if it claims to be natural. You want one ingredient, pure sodium carbonate, also listed as washing soda on the label. If the label says sodium bicarbonate, that is baking soda, put it back. They are not the same compound, and baking soda will not produce the saponification reaction you need. Second, boil water. A full gallon. You want a genuine rolling boil, not hot tap water, not almost boiling, a rolling, active boil. If you have a standard kitchen kettle, you may need to boil it in 2 batches. Have it ready to pour immediately when it is done. Third, with the drain completely dry, meaning do not run any water beforehand, pour 1 full cup of dry washing soda directly into the clogged drain. Do not mix it with water first. Do not dissolve it first. Pour the dry powder directly in. The powder needs to settle into the grease mass and make direct contact with it before any water is introduced. Let it sit, dry, for 15 minutes. Set a timer. Do not touch it, do not run water, do not add anything else. 15 minutes. During those 15 minutes, the sodium carbonate is beginning its initial work. It is drawing trace moisture from the organic material and beginning the first stage of saponification at the contact points. The dry contact is initiating the chemistry before the water arrives to complete and carry it away. At the 15-minute mark, carefully and slowly pour the full gallon of rolling boiling water directly down the drain in a steady, continuous pour. Do not splash. Do not stop and start. One steady pour. The boiling water does two things simultaneously. It accelerates the saponification reaction dramatically, converting the grease clog from solid to water-soluble almost instantly. And it carries the converted material away down the pipe before it can resolidify. You may see slight foaming at the drain. That is the saponification in process. That foam is your former clog becoming soap. After the boiling water has fully drained, run your hot tap water for 1 full minute. This flushes any residual converted material further down the line and confirms that the pipe is fully clear. One safety note. Boiling water is genuinely dangerous. Use oven mitts or heat-resistant gloves when handling the pot or kettle. Pour slowly and carefully. Keep children and pets out of the kitchen area during the pour. The washing soda itself is non-toxic and non-fuming, but boiling water is boiling water. Respect it. That is the complete procedure. 1 cup of $3 washing soda, 15 minutes of dry contact time, 1 gallon of boiling water, 1 minute of hot tap water flush. Your drain is clear. A plumber would have charged you $250 for a service call. Possibly significantly more if they recommended a hydrojetting treatment, which starts at $350 and can reach $500. A bottle of commercial liquid drain cleaner would have cost you $12 to $18, cleared the clog temporarily, and left a fresh layer of chemical corrosion on your pipe wall to ensure you would be buying another bottle in a few months, a bottle after that, and eventually a pipe replacement. You just solved the same problem for $3. $3 and 20 minutes of your time. The plumbing chemical industry does not want this information circulating, not because sodium carbonate is dangerous, but because it works, it is cheap, it is impossible to patent, it cannot be made proprietary, and it cannot generate the recurring revenue model that liquid drain cleaners provide. A homeowner who learns about washing soda and keeps a $3 box under their sink does not call a plumber for a simple drain clog. They do not buy a replacement bottle of Drano every quarter. They simply stop being a revenue source for that industry. And a homeowner who understands why commercial drain cleaners degrade their pipes over time is a homeowner who asks their plumber harder questions the next time a pipe fitting fails ahead of schedule. The industry has spent decades and significant advertising budgets ensuring that the bottom shelf of the laundry aisle stays invisible. Ensuring that the yellow box with the unfamiliar name never interrupts your automatic reach for the brightly colored bottle you have been trained to recognize since childhood. That training was not accidental, it was engineered. If this video opens something for you, share it. Send it directly to someone you know who has a plumber's number saved in their phone. Subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell because the next blueprint is being prepared now. The next one is about what they did to building insulation. What they replaced a genuinely superior material with, why they replaced it, and what the replacement costs homeowners in energy bills every single winter. The buried blueprints don't stay buried forever. Not while this channel is running. The next one opens soon. And what's inside is even heavier.